pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, discussion and possible approval of minutes from December 8th, 2025 commission meeting.
I have a discussion I want to make on, before we approve the minutes, on the public comments that were made last week. Charles, is this allowable before the minutes are approved?
I think you need to move and second and then do a
Okay.
vote.
You're gonna answer them.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
now discussion. There was some public comments brought about the building at 428 South 6th Street, and I want to clear those up. So at the time that we inspected that building, the City of Chickasha inspector and the fire chief went with us and gave us some ideas on the building. The building has ADA compliant bathrooms. They're upstairs around the elevator. There's two, is that correct, Mike? And what we were told is that all we had to do was widen the door a little bit. Then there was a question about the proximity to the courthouse. That building's about 10 blocks from the courthouse. And when we looked at it, we took 3 judges over and the court clerk. They all looked at it, felt like it was a good fit. The court clerk could move in at the bottom floor. The judges would each take an area. We had no negative discussion, as far as I know, why we were there about the building. We could keep the building and move some other offices in it in the future, or we could use it for storage or put it back up for sale. This building is big enough to house the court clerk and 3 judges sufficiently. The fire chief advised us that we would need to put fire alarms in every room because they're considering this a temporary occupancy. So he's not expecting us to put a sprinkler system, just wanted the fire alarms. The discussion about my barn, District 2 barn will be done with highway funds, so that does not go into any county funds, and it is already in the works. I've already got an architect. I've been working with the DA's office and the Industrial Authority about that. The building on Chickasha Avenue is not big enough for a judicial center. It's barely big enough to put the DA in it. And we have to allow a space for the health department in Grady County, so we cannot move them out. And we will not be renewing any other leases. I talked to the DA about this. We're going to send a letter out to the people that are leasing right now, and we're going to not renew their lease in June so that the DA has more room to move in. The 3rd floor of the church can be used for storage, so we can move some of Micah's stuff up there and the DA's stuff up there. The money, we have had some past officials in this county that have looked forward, and they have put money back into a fund for several years for the purpose of remodeling this courthouse. And we will also use the use tax money that comes into the county. Use tax money is at the discretion of the commissioners. They can divide that up and give it to whoever they want, or they can keep it for what they want to use it for. So we have taken that, I think we do 65% of that to courthouse improvement right now. And that can change. We can change that figure at any time. We can take up to 100%. And at one time I had an attorney in my office with the Tiff and Tuttle, and he took that figure that we're getting on use tax and came up with a time limit that we would need to pay back. You know, we could use that use tax to pay anything. We have never, ever talked about a bond issue to the citizens of Grady County, ever. These commissioners have never talked about that. We have always talked about using the money that's been put back and the use tax. I don't know if that was a scare tactic to get out to the taxpayers, but we've never, ever, have we, Charles, talked about a bond issue? So use tax is there for us to use to renovate this courthouse. And we have had numerous meetings over the past 3 to 4 years that were open to the public about this renovation of the courthouse. People that work in this courthouse know that we have closed because we've had sewer gas so strong that we have people having headaches. We've had to close for electrical, water. We've got to do something to this courthouse, and this is the time. And it's been going on for 3 or 4 years. I didn't start this. Zach started the renovation when he tried to start the renovation when he came in. And once again, I'm not sure why the people in Ninnecall were brought up, but that levy and that increase to the Ninnecall public school system had nothing to do with Grady County. That was a judgment in a court of law. So I just wanna make that clear, and I wanted to answer these questions that were brought forward. And I'm done.
Okay. Amen, sister.
Thank you.
Item number 4.
I need you to vote on the minutes.
Gary.
Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Item number 4, discussion and possible approval of blanket purchase order.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Gary.
Yes.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Okay, item number 5, review purchase orders generated by the Grady County governing bodies during the current and previous months and authorize or deny payments of such purchase orders.
Sheriff's Department, COPS products, proper purchasing procedures were not followed. The first invoice has a letter for it. There are other invoices attached that were done before the PO. It's $1,467.84. Sheriff's Office, CPRD Investments LLC, TIPM Repairs, proper purchasing procedures were not followed. PO not open when taken in exceeded $1,775.07. Sheriff, CPRD Investments, transfer case sensor, PO not open when taken in, proper purchasing procedures were not followed, $1,224.93. Verdon Senior Citizens, Wichita Water Conditioning, monthly water system, proper purchasing procedures were not followed, service period started November 1st, PO was not open until November 24th, $48. Rush Springs Senior Citizens, Wichita Water Conditioning, estimated water softener, proper purchasing procedures were not followed, invoice dated before PO. PO was dated 12/10. The invoice date was 11/30, it's $38. I make a motion to approve, but I will be talking about this in the officials meeting.
I'll second that.
Gary.
Yes.
Zach.
Yes.
Ruth.
Yes.
Okay, item number 6, discussion and possible action on reports from the Emergency Management Director, Grady County Fire Department, and Safety Director, Bill.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
So last week was pretty productive. We did support, the soup kitchen last Monday. I'll bring it up at the new business to request some help for them, unless I can do it now, but I'm not sure when I can do it.
We have something in place when the Community Alliance and them call for a cold day or
They do.
whatever, inclement weather, we do have something in place as a board, and, I have Sydney working on like a PO where we can get some supplies. They just are gonna have to let me know when they're gonna call that, so that we know to go get them something.
Okay,
Is the only way we can kinda do that.
okay. I'll let them know, and I'll be more, cause they did it last week for a few days, for the evenings, cause it was so cold.
Yeah, we need to know from the soup kitchen and from Life Skills
Yeah.
on what kind of type of help they need.
Okay. I know last week I talked about the college vehicle, it's still up and running, still doing, training on it. Just figuring all that out, but I met with the warranty, gentleman on Monday on Teams. And will I be able to give you all the warranty info now, or wait till the new business? I'm just learning as well.
Will,
Probably needs to be an agenda item of its own.
Okay, can I share it with you and then, or you want me to
You
share
can
it?
share it, you can probably share it right now, and since it's your,
Yeah, I had them give us 2 bids for a 3-year warranty and a 5-year warranty. I would recommend the 3, because by then, a lot of it's electrical, and I think by then we'll know, and IT stuff, and we would know how to use that, how to change out a switch, and all those kind of things that are in there, radios. But I do believe it would be needed, and the 3-year warranty is a little bit over 50,000 for 3 years. I talked to them, and they, like, our physical year, or I guess budget year, is from, what, July to June?
July to June.
So I told them, hey, send me a message with a payment from January to June, which is 6 months. Then we could put in the budget for next year, a full year's payment, and the following year, a full year's payment, and then half the year payment at the end. So it doesn't have to be done all at once, unless it's decided. And, thoughts on where it comes from, we can budget it for a full year. I'm not sure if there's monies available. As you guys talk through it, I'll put it on the agenda for next week.
Okay,
And, you all know more about the monies than I do, I'm learning about that as well, but Sydney's office and Jill's office has helped me a lot. But I would recommend even Monday, we at least do the 3-year, and that way anything that possibly could break, and we're training, but that thing has a lot of capabilities. I did get to go to the Rush Springs, fire last week, crash fire. Triggered Salvation Army to take out food and drinks, and I escorted them out there. It was, a great training event, and, really opened the eyes of what we really need to support out there in the region. Went to a frac site that's in Tuttle with Mike Fay and the fire department chief up there in Tuttle. It was an incredible experience. There's a lot of hazardous materials out there. And on that case, it's just right outside of Tuttle. So there's a lot can be done, but the relationship building, I think, was key. Because my thoughts are, there's so many pipelines in our county, we can capitalize on their goodness and monies and relationship to help mitigate any issues that may come up in the future. They actually have one of those, skids with fire suppressant on them from, I think it's Fire Tech. I may be saying it wrong, but it's a new foam that just smothers any kind of fire. And they talked about they only have 7 minutes is what they gear for. If it's more than a 7-minute fire, it's probably just gonna be, have to stay out of it. But it was really eye-opening, so I thank Mike. He invited me up there. Bobby went with me. So it was pretty good, and they got good food. They had steaks out there on the grill. You know, I'm gonna keep going to those stores. Let's see what else. Met with Southern Oaks here in Chickasha. It's a huge property. Just for possibilities, if anything ever were to happen, just making relationships. And then I'll meet with the Southwest Region Emergency Management folks on Wednesday and introduce myself there. And one of the things I'm working towards is at the end of January or the beginning of February, have a huge intro to everybody, because so many people have changed from fire departments to law enforcement. And it's not the LEPC, but it would just be an event where we all get together, have some agenda. I would invite you all as well, but so we can know each other, because I have seen you all in my little bit here. There is some serious collaboration that doesn't happen everywhere. And it was prevalent on that site, because Comanche County came, Marlowe came, all of the responders from the the Grady County Fire. It was impressive. And then the barns sending equipment. So there was a serious quick response, and it was a sight to see all that in action. And, yeah, we'll just keep plugging along, and then I'll bring up the fire ban stuff that was requested, I added, and I have that information, so you all can make a decision as the board, or as the commissioners. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Kim,
I did send out our financials and agenda on Friday evening, the board meeting's tomorrow night at 7. Along, like what Bill was saying on the graders, appreciate you guys helping with that. One of our district chiefs, I think it was Jesse, was visiting with Comanche County, dispatch or emergency management, and they dispatched their graders immediately. So he said, you know, if we offer to buy radios for the county graders or talk about that in the future, what that looks like, to not self-dispatch, but automatically dispatch. But then someone needs to be on scene to be sure it's something that, that you guys could pull away, whatever you're doing, and it's worth it.
we've got radios in there.
Ours do
Okay.
too.
Well, we may just have to, I don't know.
I would like to,
We can talk
and me
about that.
and Rodney's talked about it before, we're having a class for those grader guys, cause most of them, most of my guys are just been running a grader for a couple of years. I've
Yeah,
only
they
got
don't know
one
fire
that's-
behavior and that
Right,
sort of thing.
Right,
so-
I've got one, I do have one that he's running graders for like 40 years and was on the volunteer fire department, so he would definitely be handy, but I would like to have a class before we
Yeah.
really start to deploy him and
Sure,
that stuff.
sure.
And just to pick, I'm sorry,
Go
just to piggyback on that, I've talked to, LTAP, from, up there in Guthrie, Nate. We're trying to get, they're trying to get all the curriculum together for the, building fire breaks for the graders or dozers. So as soon as they get all the curriculum together, we'll try to get that training out here at Grady County Fairgrounds, so we can have all the ones who want to participate in and run those graders to be out there in those fires like.
And that's
that.
great, I wanna do that, but I definitely wanna do the class with Rodney too, so that we
Yes.
know how the firefighters want it done, so.
We have a chiefs meeting tomorrow night before the board meeting, so I'll be sure and jot that down on my notes to visit about that and have him get back with you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think that's.
Just an alibi, I was gonna say, we've all been talking a lot, and, we're gonna implement a lot of more training. And there's a lot of property in our county, and I know people will let us use it for training, or even 20 acres on one of the barns, if that's even plausible, even for airlifts, for practicing, you know, all that, so we can get better at it.
So I have a question, since we're talking about the fires. As officials, do you all have volunteer firefighters in your district that work for you?
Not now.
Okay.
I have.
I have, and I don't know how to handle that. To me, they're going out and fighting the fire. I want them to clock out, but then can they be given some kind of time?
We've already been through all that.
I mean, well, I don't know, I wasn't here, so I'm asking.
Yeah, I know you weren't,
Yeah,
yeah.
I have to look into it.
okay. That's just a question I have.
It's a question that Ted's gonna ask.
Okay.
Over and over and over.
Okay.
And regrettably, I don't know the answer.
It's no, okay.
Okay. Bobby?
Okay, well, we had one reportable injury last week, and, the National Association of Counties official U.S. retirement box that we have in the lobby at the Emergency Management Building was full last week. We take those up to Shannon Springs, they have a retirement box, and I forgot to bring my other sheet that had, I believe, oh, here it goes. We have 31, anywhere from small to large U.S. flags, 47 of those mini flags that you see around the Grand Cemetery, and 2 native Oklahoma flags that we took up there. So we had a total of 80 flags that we retired, and so I took them up there last week. Department of Labor is scheduled to arrive today to inspect the 2 previous out-of-service tanks that we had that have been repaired, so they're hoping to make it today. And I'm currently will be assisting maintenance until Fred returns, and in February with trash removal, just to give him a helping hand, so.
On Friday morning, I asked Bobby if he could do that to help out, cause it's just Vicky and Brenda. right now. And so he was gracious enough to say yes, and,
Appreciate you pitching in, Bob.
yeah.
Anything I can help with?
Okay, item 7, discussion and possible action on the report and work orders from the construction superintendent, Mike.
I have the concrete for the new parking we're gonna add in front of the new parking. We already have said okay on it, but here's the numbers and here's a letter from the sheriff on his recommendation. And I do agree.
Does this need to be read out loud?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go with, Walsh Development on the recommendation of the sheriff.
Put the numbers in the record.
Walsh Development is $18,700. Coffee General Construction is $16,800. The Hammond Excavation.
Yeah.
Hammond Excavation and Demolition is $41,710. I would make a motion. Go ahead.
We probably should read that letter and put that
Yeah.
letter in the
Oh,
record.
okay. All right, this is a letter from the sheriff to Grady County Commissioners from Sheriff Gary Bogus, reference concrete parking spaces on new parking lot. I want to use Walsh Development for the following reasons. First, is that Walsh Development has done all the concrete work on the new parking lot and sidewalks and did a great job. Second, Walsh Development has completed the job on time and in a timely manner. Nothing bad about Coffee General Construction, except we have used them in the past and they have missed deadlines and put us off because of other jobs. I request that the county commissioner take my request and use Walsh Development. Respectfully, Gary Bogus, Sheriff Gary Bogus. I would make a motion to go with the sheriff's recommendation based on what he said in the letter, and it's just,
$1,900.
yeah, 2,000, yeah.
I'll second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach?
Yes.
Same.
And the only other things going on is at your barn, we're gonna start sheet rocking this week, should.
Okay.
Plumbers are finishing up, electricians are finishing up, and
Come
we'll
on,
start hanging
good.
shit around.
All right, item 8, public comments. Comments from the public will be limited to 2 minutes. Time may be extended at the discretion of the board. And, we have one person signed up, and Craig McClendon.
I've introduced myself to you before the meeting got here. I am Craig McClendon. My wife and I, Teresa, had CNR print shop here for over 40 years. In 1982, we built a building at 420 Dakota. It's a concrete tilt-up building. It's in great shape, and I know from time to time that you have things come up that you need really quick. And it's a freestanding inside. There's no load-bearing walls. It's easy to tear out things and replace walls if you don't like the current setup. On the east side, we built an awning to park all of our cars. That's all concrete, and then beside that concrete, we poured another drive that goes from the alley to Dakota Avenue. And I know that right now you've got other things going on buildings, but if anything comes up in the future, we'd like for you to keep us in mind. And I give you a spec sheet on it so you can go with that. Also, there's empty lots that go with the building to the east. There are 3 25s that don't have anything on them, and part of that drive is on one of those lots, not the 3, but there's 4 there. So it uses one of those. But it's a great building. If you have something come up, if you have an emergency come up and you need us, then you give me a call and I'll do my best to get with you on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for giving me some time. I won't take any more of your
You're welcome. Thank you, Craig.
And I
Appreciate it.
enjoyed visiting with all 3 of
Yes,
us.
sir. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, item number 9, new business. Anyone have any new business?
You got that?
I've just got a little something on with Bobby helping with the trash. He will be gone some at Christmas, so we probably need all the officials to think about gathering your trash, putting it somewhere where Vicky and Nick can get up to it close. I know the treasurer's office has got a big trash can.
I also told them, I mean, it's not a big deal for us to just take it out, or if somebody will come by and grab it at the end of the day or whatever they need us to do, we always try to gather ours
Yeah.
up.
And that will be the deal. When Bobby's gone, it'll just be Brenda and Vicky, so if we can make it easier on them to have the trash at the door or something where they can swing by and pick it up. Fred won't be back till about February, so,
And I will send emails to Ruth if I have a safety meeting or orientation with some of the northern or southern bars where they start at 6:30 and they always want this done, see if we can get it done before they start work. So I'll email them if I have to be gone early and work around with Vicky, whatever she needs me to do.
okay.
We
Thank
can
you,
get
Bobby.
that done.
For our office, we'll take care of our own office. So you don't have to do our office, the 3 of us will take care of it. That'll give you time to focus on the rest of the offices.
Well, I don't mind help that,
I
I guess
know,
2
brother.
days out of the week.
I know, brother, but we can, I have my thoughts on cleaning our own office, but it's pretty easy.
All right, item 10, discussion and possible approval of implementing the burn ban for Grady County for 14 days, effective December 15, 2025.
So I printed you all information so you can make informed decisions. You probably already know all this. But what I did is made it sure so, cause sometimes people get chapped when you put on a burn ban, to say the least,
I'm surprised we.
maybe more than that. So, I just gave you that for information. It's not to exceed 14, you can do it 7, you can do it 2, it's whatever you all decide. That back page on the first page, the back, gives us the 3 requirements, and I just spelled it out for you real easy. Severe drought conditions, which we're in, minimal precipitation. So I printed this morning, the precipitation forecast for the next, I think, week, and there's none. High fire, and this is all from the National Weather Service, and we've already seen some fires already kick off. I'm not sure if y'all wanna do 7 or 14, and see how you wanna do it.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
ask, what's the
Fire
what's
chiefs.
fire chief fall on it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay.
It's up to you.
I make a motion that we do the burn ban for 14 days.
Second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Item 11. Yeah, 11, discussion, possible approval of opening a second early voting site on an as-needed basis.
Election time, everybody loves it. Okay, I'll try to make this as painless as possible. Does anybody remember the lines we had for the last presidential election?
Yes.
For early voting? We served over 4,000 people in our office for early voting. Of that, 48% came from the Tuttle Bridge Creek area. And needless to say, our building has a hard time with that many people.
How many percent did you say?
48% came from
That's
your area. Yeah, which really surprised me,
Yeah.
because they don't come for any other elections.
Me too.
So, in 2026, even though it's not a presidential, is slated to be a huge turnout, for different reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is in June, there's gonna be the state question for the minimum wage. So that's gonna be a big turnout. So here is the deal, I've talked to the state, and according to the law, because of how many voters we have, we can open a second site. McLean County's already working on one, they're gonna have one, and of course, all the bigger counties have 3 or 4. The deal is, the cost to the county is not a lot, you pay like $5 per worker, mileage for my staff if we have to go help, which is already in my budget usually, and it would be rent for whatever facility we had, and Wi-Fi, cause I do have to have Wi-Fi. We can circumvent a lot of that cost by using a county building and not renting it out, which makes it a lot easier for logistics wise, because like, for the general election, we have early voting on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's hard to get a business to let us be in there that long. A church, they have Wednesday night services, so you could run into a lot of stuff. Go ahead.
So is this just a building for early voting?
Yes, just for early voting. And it wouldn't be for every election, it would mostly be for our big state, federal, county elections, and if there was something just up there. Like, for instance, in April, we have Tuttle Mayor, so I would probably open it in April, would be the first time I would open it. Zach's building might be a really good building.
I figured that where you were headed.
And also for security reasons, because I would have to leave my machine and my ballots there overnight.
And how long would it be?
It's from 8 to 6 on the weekdays and 8 to 2 on the Saturday. And Baucus is always very good about giving us a deputy, so I'm sure he'll give us another one up there to make sure we have security on hand. And, let's see. We wouldn't have any rent. I'm sure you have Wi-Fi, so we would have a secure Wi-Fi. The state's gonna help me purchase laptops, so we wouldn't be out any money for that. There's currently over 17,000 voters in that area. So there's a possibility our early voting would even go up, which would help my precinct workers who are average age of 82. So that's always a big kicker. And it's, average age 82, yes. So, but, if you had any other suggestions of a place, that would be great. I've been looking and talking, and every time I get with one, then there's something that gets thrown in there like, well, we're only here till 5, and we'd have to send somebody back, or you'd be in the way, and then parking and stuff like that, but. So I just wanted your thoughts. I mean, the state's already said we can do it.
I'm not opposed to it, the only thing that worries me, I mean, that's cause that building was there, it's designed for that. Like,
Sure.
for things like that it's designed for. The only thing that I worry about is the parking, the
Right.
traffic and how many lines, how would that impact our day-to-day? Would we still be able to function our day-to-day?
Right, and that's what we would do, we would definitely try to make it to where it would not interfere with your day-to-day business, just like we do with any polling place when we try to
Right.
open that up. I would have to go up there and you and I would have to kind of walk through what we need, try to anticipate where we would do our lines, where we would do our forms,
Yeah.
where we're gonna set people up at. And the first time will be hectic, but once you get them in the groove of how they handle it, we may have to get some security ropes, however, cause like I said, I've never been in your facility, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Get Darcy and Katrina together.
Yeah, but, I
You're welcome to come and
promise
look
you,
at it
you
and
would
see.
be the hero of your district. Because you have no idea how many times I get called, you don't have one up here? So,
Yeah, come up and let's walk through and look at
Okay.
it, and we'll see what we can figure out. Cause I have another building it's a nice room, it's got Wi-Fi in it, but it's not
Right.
attached to the main part of the building, and I think it would be
Oh,
easier
yeah.
for them to get to, that way it's still heated, air conditioned. It's our old office, and
Right.
we're gonna remodel it after
see,
the
that
first
would
year
be,
sometime,
something like
so.
that would be perfect.
So, yeah, come up and look at it, and we'll see,
Okay.
unless we need to make a decision today, but
Oh,
let's
no,
look
we
at
don't.
it and,
You don't, and I just brought it as a fact-finding mission.
yeah.
Just so y'all
Yeah.
would kinda know where I'm at and where we're going to, because I really think trying to run early voting here is gonna get harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll still keep it here, but I think if we can get them split, it'll help a lot.
No, as long as we can make work, we need it, so.
Awesome. It sounds good to me. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and I put a little schedule in there of the upcoming elections for y'all, so that we know what we've got coming up.
Okay, item 12, discussion and possible approval of a burial cremation assistance request for Eric Darling.
Yeah,
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the, cremation assistance. I do know this gentleman's sister, and she would like to have his ashes.
I got no problem with that.
Okay, me neither.
I think that's what we need to do.
I'll talk to Keely and see what we need to do about getting that done. Do we need to decide what funeral home it goes to? What funeral home did you talk to? John Ireland?
Is this someone in Chickasha?
Yes, yeah, and I can tell you the backstory, but I don't wanna say it out loud because I respect the families.
We're gonna talk about using the one in Chickasha.
I mean, they didn't ask, the medical examiner has this, it'd be easier for, the medical examiner's the one that called and asked about this, so it'd be easier to do it on the city.
Did you make a motion?
Make a motion? Yes, sir.
I'll second.
Okay.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Okay, item 13, discussion and possible approval of removing John Fuller and Charlene Shaw as receiving officers for Alex Senior Citizens Requisitioning Department and adding Jody Rayburn and Kathy Armstrong. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Okay, item 14, discussion and possible approval of the county website hosting conversion to Civic Plus for the quoted amount of $16,300.16 to be paid from the interest money from the ARPA fund.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
discussion and possible approval of a purchase and sale agreement between Indian Nation Presbyterian Board of Trustees in Grady County for the purchase of a property located at 428 South Sixth Street, Chickasha, Oklahoma, in the amount of $550,000 with a $5,000 earnest money deposit.
I think this is the only thing we can do to get the judicial part of our courthouse moved over. So I make a motion to approve.
Second. Yes.
Yes.
See you later, Charles.
Okay, item 16. Discussion and possible approval of a bid request for the command unit of the bid for the Grady County Fire Department. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Yes.
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 Item 17, discussion and possible action on awarding a bid for the 6-month bid on commonly used items for Grady County, January 1, 2026 to June 30, 2026.
Sydney, you gonna run the show?
Yes. This is the Sydney show.
No, this is not. I don't know where the bid y'all do.
The rock on the Delisi Richard spur, location. The location of the spur and western aggregate are really the only two that make sense for, I think probably for District 1 and 2, I don't know. I've never mapped it out for District 3, but.
I think the leasing, the distance for us out of Richardsburg's
That's what I figured would
I mean,
probably
we're-
do.
close to that.
Ada, the distance, there's no good way to get Ada.
Yeah, it's long.
So,
Yeah.
based on distance, we can award from western aggregate too, right?
Yeah, we usually award the true plant.
Okay. So I'm gonna award, for Richard Spur and western aggregate, on the, inch and a half crusher, 2.5 crusher.
It would be the plant, it's
Right. So the whole plant.
the whole plant.
But what about like on the granite stuff?
On the granite, that's a different plant.
Okay.
I have them separated.
Okay. So Delisi, so that's what I want to do, Delisi and, Richard Spur and western aggregate. And then on the granite, low bid, is there anything else on the lot?
So Zach, you said spur 1, western aggregates 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, on the trucking, I'm good with low bid on all that.
On the hourly rate for asphalt, A&A and Haskell obviously tied. Do you want A&A?
I don't know I don't know that it matters. On a tie like that, can you award it to both of them?
Yeah, award it to one of them. I mean, A&A is under Haskell, aren't they? Aren't they contracted by Haskell?
I think they're owned by Haskell.
I don't have any preference either way on it.
But then Haskell would be hauling other people's. I don't know. Cause I think Trinitas was the lower on.
Well, Trinitas will do their own on the later
Trinitas
place.
do their own way.
Or whoever
Not,
gets
not
it,
laid in
yeah.
place. This is not laid in place.
Right.
It's
So it
just
wouldn't
regular
matter.
asphalt hauling.
So award it to A&A. On, steel pipe, I'm fine with what it did.
On 24-inch, quarter-inch wall, those are tie as well.
Yeah.
On the 1-inch crusher run, what have y'all decided on that, anything?
We've used 1-inch pressure run one time, and if I can remember,
Do you like it though?
we know, we
You know?
just use it in the parking lot, that's all we use it for,
Yeah.
for school, that's the only thing we use it for. It's just so small, I would use 2.5 on everything if I had my way, but I think they'd probably carry me out on a few if I did that.
I've been getting a lot of complaints on the 1.5 that we've been getting. Blowouts, had one this morning, as a matter of fact. But I think a lot of that is, these small vehicles with the 14-inch wheels. They're driving those out in the country and that, I can see where that's
Yeah.
probably happening, but we can't help that.
That's, I think that route, I think it's a waste of money, just my opinion, a 1-inch crusher, 'cause it's same price and ain't gonna last nearly as long as, it burns up pretty quick anyway.
Sydney, could they go to Davis to get 1-inch pressure on, since Richardsburg didn't?
The only place that we can find, Davis.
I mean,
Well,
we-
Cooperton is where they had it, but it was 3/4 inch, they don't have a 1-inch, but we would have to go there, which is near Carnegie, pretty much by Western Aggregates
Yeah.
is where that would be at.
It's $11.85 to Lacey Davis.
I mean, y'all could always go back and rebid 3/4 inch pressure run for 6 months.
So nobody bid on 3/4 inch besides that coal can place.
I'd like to get some of that 1-inch though, for certain areas, as long, like this particular location I'm talking about, we've got about a 2-mile stretch of level road. You're not going down hills or up hills, it's a level stretch. And, I'd like to put something like that down in those areas. Cause it won't wash on, if it's on a level roadway. But going down the hill, I can see where it wash,
Yeah.
with the heavy rains.
So on 1-inch, do y'all wanna do
Can we,
Delisi Davis?
What?
On 1-inch, do y'all wanna do Delisi Davis?
If we can do that, that's fine
I
with
mean,
me.
Western Aggregates doesn't have it, they bid on it, but they,
D-
Says they don't
Delisi
have
said
it.
they don't have it at Davis, they have it at Cooperton.
oh, well, they
Yeah,
didn't bid on
and that's
Cooperton.
closer for us, huh?
They didn't bid on Cooperton, so we'll have to,
But they said it was 3/4. I don't know if that is why, I have no idea, but
we can rebid it.
Uh,
We can
yeah,
rebid,
let's do
we can
that.
rebid 3/4 to 1-inch.
Okay, let's do that, and that'd be a good.
And then also for us on the C-Mix, the HG Jenkins was closer distance than Trinitas for us. Just wanted to bring that up too.
on the pipe, on the 24-inch, a quarter-inch wall, I'm good with railroad yard.
I'm good either way. Yeah, I agree with that. Page 4, low bid, another 5, 10 trees.
Do what?
On page 4, good low bid on that.
Yeah, I'm good with a little bit on that too. Page 5, steel pipe, new, I'm good on low bid on that too.
Yard.
Yep.
And 6. Yeah.
Page 6 on 2 and 7 extra, so I'm fine on that too. I'm fine with a little bit on all the steel. Looks like railroad yard,
Train cars.
a little bit on train cars. DeLisi was the only one that put a bid in on ready mix. On asphalt. On the type B hot mix, Haskell Lemon won the bid, but it was a 40 cents difference, and we can't justify that for District 1, probably District 2. We can't justify that on distance, so I would like to award the type B hot mix to Trinitas for at least District 1, probably
Is
District 2.
that the same with District 2?
And
Yeah.
H.G. Jenkins for District 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's higher, but it's a lot less miles.
Oh, yeah.
It adds up.
Yeah.
Asphalt laid in place, I'm fine with low bid on all that. I'm fine on, low bid on riveted culvert pipe. Page 12, I'm fine with, I guess Doug Ross was the only one that put the only bid in, so. Spiral culvert, I'm fine on, low bid on all that. Spiral culvert on page 15, 48 inch and up, I'm fine with low bid on all that, Doug Ross wanted all. Yeah, it's quite a bit cheaper. On the tires, I can't ever remember which one has the Firestone, but I wanna go with Firestone tires.
On standard, nobody has Firestone.
Okay, my bad. Irish Standard. I'm fine with low bid right there. Tires American.
Southern Tire has Firestone.
Okay. I wanna do
Which one? Page 18, American made tire.
Southern Tire. So I wanna, just for the record, Firestone, we've never had a blowout. We've had issues with unit oils, since we switched to Firestone. We have not had a single issue, knock on wood, in the 3 years or 4 years that we've been doing it. So I wanna award Southern Tire Mark based on the Firestone tire.
Same for us.
On the corrugated polypropylene pipe, I'm fine with low bid, looks like quarter main won all that. On the corrugated HDPE pipe, I'm fine with low bid on everything there. On road oils, I'm fine with I'm fine with low bid.
The CRS2 on FOB is a tie.
For District 2, I'm like Ergon, but all possible.
Ergon
Yeah.
for District 1 too. road oil's delivered. I'm good with low bid, and then on the tie, Ergon.
Same for District Three.
Same
Okay, so on delivered, the maximum freight Vance can do is 5,500 gallons. I don't know how much y'all order, but if you need more than 5,500 gallons,
I think on the only one that we would use is the CRS 2S.
cause for,
And based
I mean,
on,
for District 3, for CRS 2S, it's a tie between Ergon and Vance. And Ergon's cheaper on the CRS 2 Plus, and Ergon's cheaper on the CRS 2S. So, it looks like for District 3, Ergon is, well, I guess on the tack oil, they're not. But if you need over 5,500 gallons, you're either gonna only get that and have to order a short load and then be charged full freight, or it's just something to think about. I don't know how much y'all order.
Just depends.
the only thing that we would use is the CRS 2S on there. Cause the tackle, we'll always pick the tackle up.
Okay. Do y'all have yours delivered here?
Ergon. Huh?
Do y'all have yours delivered, or do y'all go get it?
We
For
have
both?
delivered.
So I say award it to Ergon for the the CRS 2S. Just cause they can haul more. On the dust control, it's like Scottwood Industries is the low bid on that. Looks like they were the only ones that put in a bid. Which we're gonna rebid TerraGuard. The TerraGuard bid came in late, so.
What was that guy's name? Who is that guy that we got that from? What was that guy?
The guy from Texas,
Rafter J or?
yeah, they changed the business. I don't know that guy's name now.
Where we got our, dust control, what was that guy's name? You remember? They come in, you know, he's always
The old guy, the
Scott.
cowboy hat.
no, real wide-eyed, he's really,
Oh.
You talking about the liquid plexiglass,
huh?
the liquid plexiglass stabilizer stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what is that?
Micah
Yeah.
from,
Can't think of
Share
his name.
Corp, Share Corporation.
Yeah, did you use that?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Worked all right.
Yeah, it's working good for us.
But that's on that's a, single
Single
source,
sole source letter.
so we didn't have to bid it, so you can buy it,
Yeah.
continue buying it.
So the Onyx frictional mastic surface, I'm good with low bid there. I'm good with Haskell Lemon on the day rate for the laydown machine. Good with, low bid on SWH Construction for, distributor truck and chip spreader.
Do we need to rebid crack sealing?
Do what?
Do we need to rebid the crack ceiling?
We do our own crack ceiling, so we're fine
Did you not turn a bid in, or?
No. I know District Three's used them.
We have, and I don't know, if we will again or not.
Okay.
we just go rent crack ceiling
Yeah.
from Craftco, and that is,
I think
it's a
we're
lot
fine.
cheaper to do it that way.
I think that's what we're gonna do this next time, because we did 92 out here, and, summer before last, and it's already starting to, you can tell,
Yeah.
it's not holding up.
Yeah.
We put,
I think it's like,
that was 9 miles that we put down there, crack seal, and it was about $280,000.
I don't know what our bill was,
And it's
but
not staying,
you can.
It felt really good right after they did it, but it is settling. I drove it the
Yeah.
other day, and it done up good.
yeah. For that kind of money, we
Right.
shouldn't be doing that.
I agree.
I still have a question on the road rules delivered. Do y'all use tap oil?
We do, but we go pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, we never get a big tanker load.
Yeah.
Okay.
A distributor load goes a long, long way.
Yeah.
So just a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For us, anyway.
You have anything else? Your question?
There's none.
That's only my only question.
I'll make a motion to accept the bids as
Second.
stated.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. 17.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 18. Discussion and possible approval of disposal of equipment for District 2 in accordance with the provisions set forth in Title 19, Section 421.
Make a motion to approve, we sold one grader to Caddo County, and the other one we traded in on a new grader.
Yes.
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 Item 19, discussion and possible approval of the following Oklahoma Department of Transportation Federal Emergency Relief Project damage statements. Federal project number ERSTP 2226C 147 ER, ERSTP dash 226 148 ER, ERSTP dash 226C 149 ER, and ERSTP dash 226C 152 ER, and ERSTP dash 226C 153 ER. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Yes.
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 And a bunch of these. bunch of damage.
They gonna reimburse you on a lot of it? How much they turn out to be? How much they turn out to be?
Total, I don't know what the total is, different ones. We hit all over down there, and we're still on there. I've still got that biggest washout where those two pickups ran off. We still got it to do. We had a little problem with our excavator, it got dented.
It happens.
We wouldn't
It
get
happens.
Everything happens.
Yeah,
None of our damage was on major collectors, all our stuff is FEMA, that's didn't get
well,
it.
this one's not a major collector either, but it's, those two guys that ran off in it were in intensive care, both of them, for 10 days, because of their OB negligence. And it was bad. Karen, do you know what the total was? Do you recall?
Not at this point, no.
Chunk of change.
Jill, did they ask if I could get the originals? I didn't know if there was a.
Yeah, there's no.
Thank you.
Mondays.
No, this one, purchase of the building. Oh, there that is. Got stuck behind something. That's the bid request. We were just looking for it. Purchase of the building. Just found it, Cindy. Got stuck
I
behind
printed
some-
another one.
Oh, yeah. Got stuck behind some-
Okay, well, never mind. Bye.
Congratulations.
Oh, did you want?
Do you want it?
Yeah, I want it. I'll take it. Oh, I'm gonna grab that too, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
They're making you get in your steps today.
yeah. My watch was telling me I need to walk and now I'm all over the place. Thank you.
Item 20, discussion and possible approval of a DOT Form 324A and administrative settlement for Richard C. Robertson and Susan Renee Robertson for project number Sarah Road over I-44.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
21, discussion and possible approval of DOT Form 324A and administrative settlement for Susan Renee Bell and Richard Chama Robertson for project number Sarah Road over I-44.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Item 22, discussion and possible approval of resolution to accept maintenance and to include these roads in the county certified road mileage to be filed with ODOT. Napa Valley Phase Housing Edition located in section 12, township 9 north, range 5 west.
So this is a housing addition in District 1, and they've met the updated 2005 resolution specifications. Went and looked at it last week. Looks really good, and we will be accepting their reserves and the maintenance, and I'll make a motion to approve. Also, ODOT is going to, because it's all brand new road, it don't show up on the map anywhere, ODOT is going to go drive it, so we know the exact distances on it.
I'll second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Item 23, discussion and possible action to deposit the check from Caddo County in the amount of $83,500 into Highway District 2 capital outlay for the sale of equipment.
Make a motion. Check.
Second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Okay, item 24, discussion and possible approval of depositing a check from ACO in the amount of $9,592.98 into the Sheriff's Service M&O for the repair of a sheriff vehicle. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
does anyone know what vehicle that was?
Yeah, it's a Dodge Charger, Saber called me this morning, it's a Dodge Charger that was totaled, but if the car is fine, they're just gonna fix it and then drop it to liability insurance, so we use it as a spare.
Joe, make a motion. Sorry.
I made motion, second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
25, discussion and possible approval of utility pipeline road crossing permits, water line pass line permits, and driveway 10 lane permits.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Just one. Is that?
who's this
I don't
one?
see the.
This has been a long hour for me.
See
Should've
somebody
been
lined
the
up
one
like that?
right to her.
I usually pay better attention.
Here we go.
So he was just talking.
That was it, yeah. Karen, did you by chance tell John or Ruth about that that bunch we found?
I didn't know how much you wanted said out loud on that, I guess. I didn't know if that was something, or if that was more of a later on conversation. Would you be okay if I brought up the construction part of it, I mean, what they were doing?
Yeah,
and-
we did, yeah.
Have you, guys ever ran into basically someone in your right of way, basically didn't get a permit to possibly lay lines at a later time and did not do a pre-meet, but you do have road damage from them going out there and doing that? Like I said, not laying a line at this time, just digging it up.
I mean, the way that I see it is that's an encroachment, whether they're digging over there or not, it's an encroachment onto the right of ways and on the road, so they definitely need a permit.
Yeah. AT&T put those boxes in, was it 2019? In 2019?
Or, no, 1999, sorry,
Huh?
1999.
1999. They were digging those boxes up and they're like 7 foot deep. But one guy was standing in the hole when we drove up, and I mean, he was down in that hole looking up at us. And, they were blowing the lines out. Over the years, water had accumulated inside those lines, and they were blowing those lines out. And getting those prepared for fiber optic lines eventually. So,
There's no reason for them
anyway,
to
we
they
just
should be born
chip sealed the road all
showing
summer.
not damaging the
And
road.
they already got in,
There's no
approached
reason
on
for
the
them to
road
be-
that much, and it was caving off. So, anyway, that's what we got into, and we didn't even know they were there. So I know, Ruth, they had come across you somewhere. I don't know if y'all,
I hadn't seen them yet.
they don't tell you, they've already, they're going to Lawton,
Is it
and
the
they're
same
making
Dobson
fast
bunch?
time, huh?
Is it the same Dobson bunch that's?
No, it's not
AT&T,
those.
did you say it was AT&T, Karen?
That's part of it.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I went to, Lawton, Saturday. They were working Saturday, and they were already on 17 highway, getting close to the county line. That's how fast they're moving. Okay, item 26, discussion possible approval of county officer monthly reports. None? Item 27, discussion and possible approval of estimate of needs, request for appropriations and transfer of appropriations. Make motion to approve.
Second.
Gary,
Yes.
Zach,
Yes.
Ruth,
Yes.
Item 28, discussion and possible action on the tabled item for procedures for closing of the courthouse during inclement weather.
I don't mind making the call on this. The problem I had is, when we close the courthouse, sometimes the other officials forget that our guys are working. And their lives are just as important as everybody else's lives. And at my barn, it's easier when they have comp time to say they all wanna go home a half a day before Thanksgiving to use that comp time. And I've gotten questioned about that. So, you know, when we call it and you're home, those guys are out on the road, and that is their job. But they're just as important as everybody else. So, I don't mind calling it, but I also think if we call it and the sun comes out and the snow melts, and I'm going back to a thing that Jason said back when we did COVID, if we let them off and we're paying them, then we should be able to call them and say, hey, sun came out, the snow's melted, you need to come on in. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but Jason made that comment back when we were off on COVID, that they don't need to be out shopping, you know, we're paying them administrative leave to be at home, so they need to be available. And that's the problem we've had in the past. And the other issue is that when it gets closed, it says Commissioner Beanham or Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Gray closed it. No, we closed it as a group, because I get calls from the girls at the bank saying, we drove in, we need to file a mortgage, there's nobody there. We need to pay taxes, there's nobody there. Oh, we need a marriage license, there's nobody there. The other officials, I don't know if they get those calls, but I immediately got those calls last year when I closed the courthouse. So I don't mind closing and making sure everybody's safe, but I also want everybody to know that the road workers are out there, and there is a difference between the courthouse and the road workers. I've worked both places. So I don't mind making the call to close the courthouse. I talked to Rick Crosland at Chickasha Schools, and he and the other superintendents all get together to make a decision, and Rick told me he would put me in that call so that we can make a decision. But sometimes we won't make that decision until 4 o'clock in the morning. So they need to listen to the radio, they need to watch the TV. I think the way to do it is contact the officials, which I have in the past, and the judges, and let them know, and then they're responsible for letting their employees know. But the employees need to listen to the radio, because George is gonna have it on the radio.
Yeah, there's a lot of times the election board can't close by law,
Right,
so
yeah,
we're here too.
yeah.
Were you thinking still, ma'am, of sending it to the different departments as well? Or, like with me, once the courthouse is closed, am I automatically closed? Or I just decide that, depending on what's going on, especially for my.
Well, that would, to me, I think as part of emergency management, you need to be there. I mean, you're kinda like the road guys, you need to be there, kinda like Bobby, if we need Bobby. You need to be there. Now, your girls, you can call them off. But I do get questioned about, are they getting paid? We don't get paid if we don't come in. So those are taxpayers that are asking those questions. So that's where I was bringing it in. I'd also been to some commissioner meetings. There's a lot of commissioners, they open the courthouse, and it's up to the official to decide whether they send their girls home or call them, that their courthouse is open. And that was the last commissioners meeting I went to in El Reno, is a lot of them said, we don't close, we make the officials pull that. I don't mind closing, but I do want people to understand that it's easier out in the barn when those guys have comp time to say, okay, everybody's going home at 2 o'clock, or everybody's going home at 12, than it is to piece it out. Because we got things that we can do in the summer, but in the winter, we got things to do, but we're a little slower. So I want you to understand that if you come by and you see my barn closed, it's because my guys worked and they want it off. So that's kind of where I was at on that. But I think when we post it, we say the commissioners have made the call.
The only
to
thing
close
I
the
don't,
courthouse.
the only thing I don't like about that is it looks like we voted outside.
Exactly,
of-
it does.
Outside of
Can you
the
not
meeting.
just say like the elected officials?
That's what I was, that's what I
Yeah,
was.
the
I
elected
was headed
officials,
to.
yeah, that's probably better.
But I think the closure ought to be the 4 elected officials inside the courthouse and whatever, I think y'all need to be in a group text and communicate that. I mean, it's just my opinion.
Yeah, I
And-
agree.
And then that way you can say the elected officials, and I think it needs to kind of be a 3 want to and 1 don't, I think it's kind of a
Majority rules.
majority type deal.
But I do think you tell your personnel, if we close, cause it's bad in the morning, and by noon, it's clear, we're gonna go on and come in, cause we got work to do. Now, that's up to you all.
And I think a written policy stating that
Yeah.
needs to be, whatever we decide to do, whether it's we keep it the same, we need to add some guidelines and stipulations to it that's in writing, goes in
So
the handbook,
everybody knows,
and
everybody
everybody
can sign
says,
off.
okay, if it's bad in the morning and at 11 o'clock, the weather comes out and it's nice, you're all subject to come back to work.
Because that's what's happened too, sometimes we call it, and it's bad in the morning, and by noon, the sun's out, no snow on the ground, no ice, and that's where, I think it needs to be elected official. I think we need to word it different, because I had 4 immediate Facebook, text, phone calls, and I said, I'm at work, and my guys are at work because they're road workers, they have to be at work. And it's for the safety of the other employees. So I don't mind being on a text with the other officials to decide that, or get the call from, I think John's, the AMPO superintendent, where did you tell me he drove from?
He gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, he lives in Tuttle, and he drives all the way to Chickasha and Pocasset back around, and by 5 o'clock in the morning, he's having conferences with the principals.
And he's on the feed with the rest of the superintendents in Grady County. And when I talked to the gentleman in Caddo, one of the commissioners in Caddo, he said, we kinda look around at the other counties, we talk to the sheriff, which I stay in contact with Gary when it's bad, and I used to talk to Dale, and then he said, we kinda look to see what the schools are doing.
That was what I always did, I always included the Judge
Yeah.
Kirkland, talked to the sheriff, I was normally out and about, and then looked at the schools.
And I
That's what
I do all 3 judges, because I don't know what their calendar is or anything, I've got them all 3. And so, we can do that.
There's a lot of times, like one of my big deals is I don't wanna throw a wrench in somebody's plans by closing the courthouse when I don't know what the 4 offices are doing, so it'd be helpful to
Yeah.
have that group text with, probably add the judge in there too, so.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen it where like, you might be snowed in, froze in up there, and then I'll be dry down there.
That's how it was, I closed it one
Yeah.
day when I was doing
Yeah.
it, because it was terrible up there.
Yeah.
And down
Yeah.
here it was nothing, well,
Yeah.
I was on the snowplow up there, so I was like, well, shoot, this is bad.
Yeah.
And
Probably too, your employees might wanna call the barn, and whatever district they live in, and call and see if that barn if they're working or not. Cause everybody we start at 6:30 every morning. And, we'll know what the road conditions are.
And then, Gary kinda said it last week, everybody's safety comes down to them,
Yeah.
they know if they can drive in it, they
Yeah.
know if they can't drive in it.
Right.
They know what the road's like, cause it might, a couple miles down the road, it might be completely different road conditions.
Yeah.
So, there needs to be, that's why we have sick leave, that's why we have
Yeah. Right.
comp time, so.
So if the ones that live where it's bad enough where they don't feel they can drive in, they have to either use vacation day or sick leave.
That's
Yeah, that's what it's for, and those that
Yeah.
use up their sick day,
It
just
don't
because they've
matter.
got one built up, they need to start hanging on to that stuff.
I agree.
I mean, they got to take care of their own job.
Yeah.
And my thing about closing it or say we're gonna open at 10 versus we open at 12, is then everybody wants to take their lunch. So then you're still losing 2 hours, so it's just better to say, if it's bad enough, to say, we're gonna close, we won't open till noon, and that way everybody can have their lunches done, they come in and work for 4.5 hours. Instead of coming in and then, oh, I gotta go to lunch at 11, I gotta go to lunch at 12:30. So there may be times that we just say, we're not gonna open till noon, and the roads will be, because right now, District 2 tries to clean the courthouse, parking lot, and health department and all that. So that would give us enough time to get that clean and get out on the roads. So I make a motion to, work with the schools, the officials, the judges, and figure out when we're gonna close, and then get it out to the public, and our employees, that we'll let the officials and judges know, and then they can work their employees.
I think it needs to be added in there that you are subject to come back if
Yeah.
the weather, if
Yes.
the weather clears up in the afternoon, you are subject to be called
So
back.
can you write something up and we put it
Yeah.
on the agenda to actually call
Yeah.
and put it in a name?
That's what I would do, that's what I'll say. Do we wanna table this, or do we want to take no action, put it on the agenda in a different form, wording?
Yeah, I just think writing in it like a policy and
Okay.
putting it on the agenda is best. So
Okay.
yeah, table it, cause we can, I mean, we can put it on there the same way.
Okay. We'll just table it, cause I think we can do it under that agenda item. I'll make a motion to table it.
Second.
Terry,
Yes.
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Item 29, risk assessment officials quarterly meeting.
so we.
You don't feel risky?
Those three.
All right.
Across the road.
Jill, did you have her sign my,
Okay. Everybody ready? Number 1, are periodic meetings held to address items that should be included in the handbook and to determine if the county is meeting its goals and objectives. Discussed? Any comments?
I think we probably need to work on some new handbook stuff.
Oh, it's just officials.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Official.
One official.
Wants to point it.
Okay. What? Are periodic meetings held to address items?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, is someone other than the preparer formally designated to ensure the financial statement, required disclosures, and supplemental information of the county is reviewed for accuracy and completeness and compared with the prior financial statements?
We're supposed to get some of that quarterly, I don't know if we've gotten it in a while, but we're supposed to get some quarterly information, financials for the commissioners to overview.
Or that one is one.
Somehow I got two.
Sneak. Alright, item 3, is someone other than the preparer formally designated to ensure the SEFA and required disclosures of the county is reviewed for accuracy and completeness and compared with the prior SEFA.
Jill, does Keely do that and then you look it over, or
I'm sorry,
the SEFA?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But, that is where our grants come in on that, and
Yeah, I've got that.
we need to make sure we get those grants pulled through correctly. We have a policy already, it's already been set up, everybody's official signed off on it.
That, yeah.
I know most of us don't do grants, but when they do grants, we need to be following that. That's the only way we get CFA done correctly.
And that is one of the, lack of internal controls that the state auditor found on us. It's repeat findings from 2022 to 2024, and there's really no reason to have a finding on this because this policy was adopted in 2020, but it seems like nobody wants to work on it, to implement it. People need to turn in their grant information. Keely needs to have a folder. It makes it easier for her to fill out those, the CFA. It helps her when the auditors come in. She should have a folder on the grant and then copies of the POs and the invoices that are turned in, what the grant's about. You know, last year we had a grant that had one thing on it, but when we got ready to bid it, we bid a different thing, and had that not been caught prior to that, we might have had to have paid out of general fund for the things that we bought that weren't on the grant. So we need to have a copy of the grant, what they're supposed to be buying, what's expected, the time frame, so that the county doesn't get caught in the middle and somebody buys the wrong thing, and then they come in and audit that grant and you gotta pay it back because you didn't buy what was on the grant. And it's hard to keep a sometimes we approve things in the meetings, but then Keely doesn't get, or Jill's office doesn't get the paperwork to track that grant, and they've gotta be able to track that grant so we stay out of trouble. And that is a finding from the auditor's office.
And we also, any grant is supposed to be brought through the board
Yes.
first. You're supposed to ask permission to be able to go out on the grant. You can't just go out on the grant and then have the commissioners come sign that paperwork. Because, I mean, if it's a reimbursement grant, or if it's 50%, the board would need to approve whether the county wants to be able to pay for the rest of that or not. So you may not want them to go out for that grant if we're having to pay 50% of it. So it should always goes through the board first, whether they can go out on the grant.
Okay, does that entail like REAP grants too, through ASCON?
Is REAP grants, I don't know if REAP grants is on the CFA or not.
I don't know.
I mean, every grant really should be run the same way.
Okay.
Yeah, we should just make it consistent,
Okay.
you know, no matter what,
Any grant.
just turn it in
Any
and,
grant.
yeah.
So in other words,
No matter the office.
it needs to run through the board
Yes,
just to go
yeah.
out for the
Fine.
grant, and then they'll come back for you to sign the paperwork. So there'll be 2 agenda items there for any grant.
Okay. Oh, we have no.
And any, I've got a copy of the policy and procedures, if anybody wants to make a copy of that.
So if I get a REAP grant, then before I do anything with it, bring it up here, run it through the board, and then we do it. Follow it. Okay. Okay, number 4 is someone formally designated to ensure the county's estimate of needs is reviewed for accuracy and completeness.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Is someone formally designated to ensure the county's estimate of needs is reviewed for accuracy and completeness?
I think so, we hire a CPA to do that, and I think Jill's office looks that over.
We go through a lot of steps to make
Steps.
sure that's correct. But usually the last step is the CPA's already made the budget, and then that's what y'all approve, so.
Okay. Okay, 5, determine audit findings are correct.
I think that's where we lack, that we don't, and I have a list. So, the risk assessment, which you're asking, Leishla sent out a new one that we might look at, to make sure, but we have been written up repeated findings from 2010 to 2024, about some type of controls and risk assessment. We've been written up on purchase orders not properly encumbered, repeat findings, 2022 to 2024. We need to put some more controls in place that align with the state statutes. I don't think that the officials that are not, the officials and the people that are doing purchase orders don't realize that we as commissioners don't have to approve those for payment. They did them wrong. That they can be responsible for them, not us. The only thing the DA says, you know, he doesn't wanna fight a $25 bill in court, but we shouldn't be having continual accidents happen. We've done it in our barn, everybody's had it. But there was 2 to the same vendor this morning. We had lots of write-ups on the ARPA funds. Of course, most of that money's spent, so there's no need to discuss that. We have lack of internal controls and we're non-compliance over our fixed assets. We've been written up for different findings. Every department has to turn in an inventory to the clerk's office, and that includes any entity receiving sales tax dollars. And the person in charge of the inventory that makes the list has to sign that inventory, and so does the person checking it. So you need 2 signatures on the inventory to verify that everything's there. I'm gonna go on with a couple more things and then I'll shut up. I had a statute sent to me that states that county commissioners will inspect the jail in their counties at least once a year. So I contacted Fred Clark at ACO and I said, even if it's a trust, and he said, yes. He said in his county, only 1 commissioner inspects the jail, and it is a trust jail, but it is a statute, and I don't know if we're doing that. Okay, I thought probably you were, cause you're on the board. And then, I'm gonna bring this up, this is something that is very, I'm extremely worried about it, not only for the counties, but for the schools. So there is a possible petition going out, State Question 841, and it's to get rid of the ad valorem tax. If that happens, that will hurt our county, but it will hurt our school systems. Our school systems receive 83% of the tax ad valorem that's collected. We're already last in the United States. There will be school systems that cannot operate because they are not getting any money. So the first thing people are gonna see is, oh, I'm not gonna have to pay any more taxes. Now, this is for homestead. And I'm just gonna tell you, I've been in the school system, I've worked here. When they take a revenue away, they try to find another place to put it. And I was told, by someone I question on this, is they're trying to put wording in this petition that they can't pull the money somewhere else. If this happens, you're gonna probably have to cut half of your staff. The school systems will.
There'll be some closed.
It will. So when you hear people talk about this 841, or you see a petition, this is gonna hurt your public schools. And the only people that are gonna be able to educate their children are people that can drive them to a private school, because our public schools are gonna be hurt badly. I'm done with my soapbox.
Hey, doing good. Okay, so are we gonna say reviewing for improvement at this point?
I think we need to maybe look over some controls
Okay.
and figure out what we can do, to do something different, but we've got to make this grant stuff more lined up, with what was approved. And we may wanna look at it and revise it, cause it was done in 2025, I think. But it is something that we have gotten written up on numerous times.
All right. Review for improvement, revise.
Yeah.
Sound okay? All right, number 6, periodically review budgeted amounts to actual amounts and resolve unexplained variances.
I don't know if we've been doing that, but I think we should. I think we should look at, budget balances in January, you know, to see how the flow is for the next 6 months, so that we don't have an unexpected, somebody come up to and go, well, I'm out of money, you know,
Okay, so we review budget balances.
probably in January sometime.
Seven, ensure employees understand expectations in meeting the goals of the county. I say yes.
I say yes.
My barn.
Yeah.
Eight, determine, matter of fact, it's often, more often than not. Determine source of complaint and course of action for resolution. Yes.
What is it?
I think, ensure, determine source of complaint and course of action for resolution.
I think so.
I think all y'all do that, surely. Talking to your employees. Alright, nine, does each official perform a periodic evaluation of the internal controls designed for their office?
Yes.
Yes. Y'all do that? Okay. Alright, is that it?
Anybody have any concerns?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't think either.